The Regent Queens of Nepal. The Regent Queens of Nepal refer to a group of influential women who acted as regent on behalf of underage kings in the history of Nepal. These queens played significant roles in shaping the political landscape of Nepal during periods of rural minority. After the reign of King Prithvinarayan Saha, his son Pratap Singh Saha succeeded him as the ruler of Nepal. Queen Rajendra Lakshmi, who would later play a significant role, hailed from a notable lineage. She was the daughter of King Mukunda Singh II, who ruled the powerful kingdom of Palpa at that time. During her childhood, Queen Rajendra Lakshmi was married to Prince Pratap Singh Saha, the eldest son of King Prithvinarayan Saha. Pratap Singh Saha ascended the throne at the age of 24 in the year 1775. His rule, however, was brief, lasting only until 1777, spanning a period of 36 months. Tragically, he succumbed to smallpox at the age of 26. Following the demise of Pratap Singh Saha, Vajranath Pandit sought to seize power in the name of the young king. He attempted to pressure Queen Rajendra Lakshmi to commit sati, a practice of self-immolation upon her dead husband. However, Queen Rajendra Lakshmi defied this demand and instead chose to exile Vajranath Pandit from the country, demonstrating her strong-willed character. In a strategic move, Queen Rajendra Lakshmi passed on her sati obligation to another queen, Maijur Rani, a Newari girl. Consequently, Prince Rana Bahadur Shah, who was a mere 2.5 years old, ascended the throne as the king of Nepal. During this transition, Queen Rajendra Lakshmi assumed the role of a regent, acting on behalf of the young king. In 1777, Rajendra Raja Lakshmi took on the title of Queen Mother. The position of the Chief of Army Staff was bestowed upon Sarvajit Rana Magar. At the outset, Rajendra Lakshmi called her exiled brother-in-law, Prince Bahadur Shah, back to Nepal, and together they decided to rule the nation. They divided their responsibilities, with Rajendra Lakshmi overseeing matters related to royal court, while Bahadur Shah took charge of military and foreign affairs. Approximately 5 months later, the collaborative partnership between Rajendra Lakshmi and Bahadur Shah dissolved, leading to a deterioration in relationship between the two. Bahadur Shah took a drastic step by accusing his sister-in-law, Rajendra Lakshmi, of engaging in extramarital affairs. He arrested her under the charge and went so far as to nail a silver nail to substantiate his claim. This incident transpired in 1778, and as a consequence, Queen Rajendra Lakshmi was incarcerated. Subsequently, the accusation against Rajendra Lakshmi was ultimately disproven. During Bahadur Shah's absence on the battlefield, Rajendra Lakshmi was exonerated from the charges and released from her imprisonment in 1779 with the affirmation of her innocence by other members of the royal family. Upon receiving news of her exoneration, Bahadur Shah fled from the battlefield of Tanahu once again. Following these events, Bahadur Shah and his supporters faced deposition, paving the way for Rajendra Lakshmi to assume sole rulership. During the period when Bahadur Shah and Rajendra Lakshmi were joint viceroys, a sense of fear permeated 24 kingdoms, preventing them from asserting themselves. However, when Rajendra Lakshmi became the sole deputy ruler, these kingdoms seized the opportunity to band together and strategize the downfall of Nepal. Notably, King Mukunda Singh II of Palpa, King Veervardhan Saha of Lamjung, King Kirtibam Malla of Parvat, the ruler of Kaski, and King Harka Kumar Datta Sen of Tanahu form a coalition with intentions of a combined military offensive against Nepal. Unperturbed by these developments, Rajendra Lakshmi exhibited immense courage and dispatched a formidable Nepalese force under the command of Badakazi Amar Singh Thapa. This army took the enemy by surprise, launching an unforeseen attack at a place called Sipleti in Gorkha. The coalition armies were routed due to the strategic acumen and psychological tactics employed by the Nepalese military leaders. Remarkably, the diplomatic strategies were successful in incorporating Kaski into Nepal's domain without engaging in conflict. Following the annexation of Kaski, the Nepalese force strategically moved into Lamjung from various routes and laid siege to it. By Kartik of 1782 Bikram Sambat, Lamjung and Tanahu were effectively integrated into Nepal. Rajendra Lakshmi's astute leadership thwarted the joint offensive of the 24 kingdoms and propelled the Nepalese troops to the border along the Kaligandaki River. Her administration skills were widely recognized as she played a pivotal role in advancing Prithvi Narayan Shah's unification campaign. Her active participation on horseback in battlefield situations further showcased her exceptional leadership qualities. Queen Rajendra Lakshmi died of tuberculosis in the year 1785 AD or 1842 Bikram Sambat at Hanuman Dokha Palace in Kathmandu. Crowned at a young age of 2, Rana Bahadur Shah found himself living under the influence of his strong-willed mother in 1777 AD. His uncle, Bahadur Shah, cast a significant shadow over his rule. Gorkha had already established itself as a dominant power with its capital in Kathmandu and control over Baise and Chaubise kingdoms as well as suzerainty over Kumaon, Garhwal and Tibet. Rana Bahadur Shah entered into 4 marriages during his life. Rajbhandari Devi in 1789, Suvarnaprabha in 1791, Kantavati, a Tirhut Brahmin girl in 1797, and finally Lalit Tripura Sundari in 1804. In the year 1794 AD, when King Rana Bahadur Shah turned 20 years old, he took the step of removing his uncle Bahadur Shah from the regency, assuming personal control over the rule. Around mid-1795, Rana Bahadur Shah became enamored with Kantavati Jha, a widow of Maithili Brahmin origin. Kantavati had been leading a life as a widow due to a child marriage. It was during a pilgrimage that King Rana Bahadur Shah encountered Kantavati and he was captivated by her presence. Subsequently, Rana Bahadur Shah married Kantavati, making a promise that her child would be a successor. This marked the 3rd marriage of Rana Bahadur Shah, and Kantavati was a Brahmin woman from a Mishra caste. This union with Kantavati was the result of a romantic connection. From this marriage with the Brahmin woman, Rana Bahadur Shah's son was born in 1797. The child was named Girvan Yuddha Bir Bikram Saha. During the rule of King Rana Bahadur Shah, a significant change occurred in the royal lineage of the Shah dynasty. His eldest son, Crown Prince Ranodiyat, was born from his second wife, Queen Suvarnaprabha. Interestingly, his first wife and senior queen, Rajbhandari Devi, did not have any children of her own. This shift in the lineage brought attention to the complex dynamics within the royal family. In a significant turn of events, Kantavati, King Rana Bahadur Shah's 3rd wife, managed to convince him to designate their sons as the heir apparent. To ensure the ascension of Girvan Yuddha Bikram Shah to the throne while Kantavati was alive, Rana Bahadur Shah, who was just 23 years old at the time, decided to abdicate in favor of their son. On March 8, 1799 AD, he relinquished the throne and appointed his first wife, Rajbhandari, as the regent. This decision was guided by Rana Bahadur Shah's foresight, as he believed it would be wise to see his son enthroned while he was still alive. After stepping down from the throne, Rana Bahadur Shah underwent a profound transformation. He adopted the name Swami Nirgunananda and chose to live a life of a spiritual devotion in the temples within the Kathmandu Valley. Bhimsen Thapa, his trusted aide, was assigned the role of his bodyguard during this phase. Kantavati, his wife, also retired from public life and joined Rana Bahadur Shah in his spiritual pursuit. However, tragedy struck when Kantavati fell victim to tuberculosis, an incurable ailment during that era. Her passing deeply affected Rana Bahadur Shah, plunging him into a state of inconsolable sorrow. The loss of Kantavati caused him to spiral into a state of madness driven by grief. In his distraught state, he even vandalized various religious idols, including the revered Tolejo idol. Moreover, he issued orders for the destruction of numerous sculptures of god and goddesses scattered across the valley. Rana Bahadur Shah's mental anguish was so profound that he even reversed his previous act of philanthropy. He retrieved the wealth he had donated to the Brahmin community and ordered the demolition of temples dedicated to revered deities. This period marked a stark departure from his earlier reign as a monarch. Following the passing of Kantavati, Rana Bahadur Shah experienced a shift in his demeanor. He abandoned his ascetic way of life and sought to reclaim his royal influence. However, this decision set the stage for a confrontation with most of the courtiers who had already sworn allegiance to the rightful king, Girvanyuddha Bikram Saha. This clash of loyalties laid the groundwork of a dual government to emerge, intensifying the risks of potential civil conflict. The situation escalated further, with Damodar Pandey emerging as a leader at the forefront of the military effort against the opposing faction led by the ex-king and his supporters. This internal strife created a highly volatile environment that was on the brink of erupting into a full-blown civil war. The division among the courtiers and the conflicting claims to the throne created a complex political landscape fraught with tension and uncertainty. Realizing that the majority of military officers were sided with the courtiers, Rana Bahadur Shah came to the realization that restoring his authority would be an uphill battle. This led to his decision to escape to the British-controlled city of Banarasi in India in May of 1800. Accompanying him in this journey was his closest friend and advisor, Bhimsen Thapa. Following his departure, the Regent Queen, Rajbhandari, also left Nepal alongside her husband. With Rana Bahadur Shah's absence, the role of Regent was assumed by the junior queen Suvarnaprabha in the year 1800. This period marked the rise of Damodar Pandey, a strong and influential figure who played a key role in the regency. He was a war hero and effectively held the reins of power behind the new regent. During the period when King Girvanyuddha Bikram Saha was still a minor, Damodar Pandey took on the position of Mukhtiar, equivalent to the modern Prime Minister, effectively controlling all administrative functions and foreign affairs. One of Damodar Pandey's chief policies was to ensure the safety of the young king by keeping his unpredictable father away in Banaras, India. However, by the year 1804, this strategy had proven to be unsuccessful. Rana Bahadur's life as Medican did not satisfy his desire to regain significant influence, especially in his son King Girvanyuddha's rule. His intention was to return to Nepal and assert real power from behind the scenes. However, the Nepalese court was reluctant to allow him to return and interfere in the affairs of the kingdom. Despite facing several hurdles, he managed to convince the British Governor-General to intervene. As a result, in 1802 AD, Queen Rajbhandari was brought back to Nepal with British assistance, and she resumed her position as a regent. Meanwhile, the junior queen, Suvarnaprabha, was placed under house arrest. This move was orchestrated to ensure that Rana Bahadur Shah could exert his influence once again through his wife regency. With the assistance of Bhimsen Thapa and other advisors, the former king, Rana Bahadur Shah, orchestrated his return to Nepal and managed to regain the position of Mukhtiar, the chief executive authority. This move involved executing Damodar Pandey and subsequently appointing Bhimsen Thapa as the chief administrator or Qazi. Rana Bahadur Shah's return to Nepal marked a significant shift in power dynamics, facilitated by the support of Bhimsen Thapa and his advisors. The former king, Rana Bahadur Shah, returned to Nepal once again, sparking a period of turbulence within the court. However, he met a swift demise at the hands of his stepbrother, Sher Bahadur Shah. Both the queen mothers, Rajbhandari and Suvarnaprabha, chose to perform sati. Approximately a month and a half prior to the tragic incident, under the insistence of Bhimsen Thapa, Rana Bahadur Shah, then 31 years old, married with a 14-year-old girl named Lalit Tripura Sundari on March 7, 1806, thus becoming his last lawful wife. She was the daughter of Qazi Nayan Singh Thapa, who was the brother of Bhimsen Thapa. King Rana Bahadur's youngest wife, Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari, who was barely in her teenage years, assumed the role of a regent of Nepal in the year 1806 AD. During this time, King Girvanyuddha was a minor of only 9 years, and he was supported by the influential figure of Bhimsen Thapa, who stood as a pillar of strength beside Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari. Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari holds the distinction of being the first woman to contribute to literature in Nepal. She accomplished this feat by translating certain sections of Shanti Parva from the Sanskrit Mahabharata into Nepali. Her translated work, titled Rajdharma, was published in 1824. This treatise delved into the various duties and responsibilities of a king. Remarkably, Rajdharma has garnered accolades from historians who view it as a testament to Nepal's language and literature. In addition to this significant achievement, Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari penned numerous other poems in the Nepali language. Her influence extended beyond her own writings. She actively promoted writers and poets within her court, fostering a literary environment. Under her encouragement, her stepson, King Girvanyuddha Bikram, and step-grandson Rajendra Bikram authored 3 books, each thereby contributing to the literary landscape she helped cultivate. The Gorkha Empire underwent further consolidation, prompting Nepalese army to venture beyond the Sujal River in the west, reaching Kangara, and to the east, crossing the river Tista into Sikkim. King Girvanyuddha Bikram Saha reached adulthood, got married, and had a successor named Rajendra. However, destiny dealt a harsh blow as King Girvanyuddha Bikram Saha passed away at a very young age, still in his teenage years. In this unfortunate situation, Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari assumed the regent's role once again, this time for her step-grandson, King Rajendra Bikram Saha, who was just a baby. The governance and state policies continued seamlessly under her, with Nepal's expansion being led by Prime Minister Bhimsen Thapa. However, this phase was short-lived, as the advancing British East India Company emerged as a significant threat, imperiling the very existence of Nepali kingdom. As a result, the expansion and governance under the Prime Minister Bhimsen Thapa faced an abrupt interruption. The Anglo-Nepal War of 1814 to 1816 AD and the subsequently Treaty of Sugauli in 1816, which resulted in a significant territorial loss for Nepal, struck a severe blow to the Bhimsen Thapa, from which he would never fully recover. This Sugauli Treaty marked the end of Gorkha expansion in the region and had a profound impact on Bhimsen Thapa's influence. Notably, Bhimsen Thapa was responsible for the construction of Sundhara and Dharara towers, both dedicated to Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari. Tragically, Queen Lalit Tripura Sundari passed away in 1832 AD, marking a pivotal movement in Bhimsen Thapa's downfall. Her death symbolized the decline of Bhimsen Thapa's power and influence. On the 5th of February 1824 AD, King Rajendra Bikram Saha followed the royal tradition by marrying his 2 queens on the same day. This was done with the urgency to produce an heir to the throne promptly. The senior queen was Samrajya Lakshmi Devi, while the junior queen was Rajya Lakshmi Devi, and they both assumed their roles as the queens of Nepal. However, the aftermath of these marriages was marked by a power struggle and intrigues within the court. Crown Prince and the designated heir to the throne, Surendra Bikram Saha, was born in the year 1829 AD. His mother was the senior queen Samrajya Lakshmi Devi. Likewise, the junior queen Rajya Lakshmi Devi gave birth to a son named Prince Ranendra Bikram Saha in 1834 AD. The capricious behavior of the Crown Prince Surendra Bikram Saha was met with disapproval from a significant portion of the Nepalese court. Some of them rallied around junior queen Rajya Lakshmi Devi, urging the king to designate Prince Ranendra as the heir apparent. King Rajendra, who displayed a lack of effectiveness and decisiveness, found himself caught between these opposing forces. He chose to distance himself from decision-making, resulting in senior queen Samrajya Lakshmi Devi effectively acting as the regent of Nepal from 1839 to 1841 AD, ruling on behalf of her husband. The passing of senior queen Samrajya Lakshmi Devi in 1841 AD revitalized the ambition of Queen Rajya Lakshmi. Junior Queen Rajya Lakshmi assumed the de facto regency from 1841 to 1843 AD until King Rajendra was dethroned. Subsequently, she held the position of Regent Queen of Nepal from 1843 to 1846, solidifying her authority during this period. Queen Rajya Lakshmi held a singular ambition throughout her life: to see her son Ranendra ascend to the throne instead of the unpopular Surendra. She was confident in gaining the support of Changabadur Rana in this endeavor. With King Rajendra's abdication in 1843, Queen Rajya Lakshmi, acting as a regent, wielded her authority firmly, gradually eliminating the supporters of the former regent, Samrajya Lakshmi Devi. This included orchestrating the murder of Prime Minister Matra Singh Thapa in a sinister manner. Despite her efforts, she was unable to realize her goal of securing Ranendra's position as the heir apparent. Additionally, the assassination of her lover, Gagan Singh, fueled her frustration, turning them into a raging fury. Her last-ditch effort seemed to be the Court massacre, a dramatic call to her trusted confidant Janga Bahadur, urging him to remove all her adversaries from the court. This event marked a pivotal movement in the course of her rule and the history of Nepal. In the Court massacre of 1846 AD, Janga Bahadur Rana emerged as the sole survivor. Capitalizing on this, he swiftly solidified his authority by persuading Regent Queen Rajalakshmi Devi to appoint him as the new Prime Minister of Nepal. This marked the commencement of a hereditary prime ministership within the family, a position that endured for a remarkable 104 years. Janga Bahadur Rana and his brothers effectively executed their plan to eliminate all perceived foes, whether real or imagined, in the well-known Court massacre. This allowed them to gain complete authority over the army. Not the less, as historical events transpired, Regent Queen Rajalakshmi's aspiration to remove Crown Prince Surendra from his position remained unrealized. Janga Bahadur declined to execute her intended schemes. Faced with defeat, she and her husband, ex-King Rajendra, departed Nepal and embarked on a life of exile in Banaras, India. The social ascent of Prime Minister Janga Bahadur Rana's family was cemented by strategic marriages. Janga Bahadur Rana's two elder sons were wedded to daughter of King Surendra, thus intertwining their destinies. Concurrently, his two daughters, Tara and Lalita, were married to Crown Prince Trailokya Birbikram Saha. These alliances not only solidified the Rana family's standing, but also played a significant role in shaping Nepal's socio-political landscape. Crown Prince Trailokya's life was tragically short-lived, and shortly after, King Surendra Birbikram Saha also passed away. In 1881 AD, Prithvi Birbikram Saha was crowned as the young king at the tender age of 6, with his mother, Lalita Rajeshwari, assuming the role of a regent queen of Nepal. During this time, Queen Mother Lalita Rajeshwari Devi played a pivotal role in the coup orchestrated by her cousin Bir Samsha Janga Bahadur Rana. This coup would eventually lead to the downfall of Janga Bahadur's family. In 1885 AD, Bir Samsha successfully executed a coup against his uncle with the support of the regent queen and his younger siblings. Prime Minister Ranadip Singh was assassinated in the palace as a part of this coup. Bir Samsha swiftly took his place, assuming the role of the new Prime Minister and the Maharaj of Nepal. The coronation was officiated by Queen Mother Lalita Rajeshwari on behalf of the young king. As a consequence of this coup, Janga Bahadur Rana's son Jagatsang and grandson Juddha Pratap were immediately slain. The remaining family members sought refuge at the British Residency and were later permitted to escape to India, effectively marking the decline of once powerful Janga Bahadur's family. Regent Queen Mother Lalita Rajeshwari Devi played a pivotal role in facilitating the rise of Samsar family. However, her influence disappeared after Bir Samsar assumed the position of Prime Minister. With Bir Samsar's ascent, the executive authority of the kingdom became firmly entrenched within the Rana Samsar's family grasp. Consequently, Lalita Rajeshwari Devi gradually disappeared into the background of Nepal history. The final regent queen in Nepal's history was Queen Mother Revati Raman Rajya Lakshmi Devi. She took on the role of regent for her stepson King Tribhuvan Birbikram Saha, who inherited the throne in 1911 AD at the tender age of 5. With her guidance, King Tribhuvan navigated his early years as the ruler of Nepal. Notably, Queen Mother Revati Raman Rajya Lakshmi Devi was also the first queen of His Majesty King Prithvi Birbikram Saha. She hailed from the Rajput royalty of Kangara, Punjab, and her influence of Nepal's history and monarchy was notable. Thank you.